Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to Hugo Girl, a special edition. This month we are not reading a Hugo Award-winning novel. We are talking about a movie called Jupiter Ascending from 2015. So,
Who are you?
I am Haley.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Lori.
Has this movie ever won a Hugo?
It has not even been nominated for. It's been nominated for many Razzies.
Did it win any?
Eddie Redmayne won Worst Best Actor.
I have some thoughts on that.
I do too.
Yeah. Do we have any housekeeping information? Oh, Lori has received a promotion. She is now our official moth manager.
Yes! Congratulations on your promotion. It does not come with a raise.
That's okay. I mean, I guess like 0 to 0 is whatever percent you want it to be.
It's one of those sucky title-only promotions where we just recognize the work you've been doing.
That's true.
Just like my real job.
You do get a tote bag and possibly a Hugo Award. So.
Maybe.
You never know.
I'll at least get a little finalist pin.
Oh, that'll be
Those
good.
are so cute.
Yeah, I'm
But
excited.
aha, joke's on you. We didn't do anything, and we might get a pen.
You did do 2/3 of the podcast.
2/4.
2/4.
Half?
That's actually, Kevin probably does more actual work.
I know.
That's
It's
true.
like
This is Kevin's podcast. Voiced by Lori, Haley, and Amy.
We're like puppets.
Did Kevin have to watch Jupiter Ascending for this?
Yes, he did. Have to.
Aw, poor Jupiter Ascending.
It was a fun family activity.
It's so pleasurable to watch, even though it is absurd.
Why don't you tell us what it's about?
Okay. I did not write this ahead of time, so it's going to be an extemporaneous plot summary. So we have Jupiter Jones, the lady from That 70s Show, Mila Kunis, married to Ashton Kutcher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they still married?
They are.
think
They have
so.
kids.
I typed Mila Kunis on my phone, and my predictive texts wanted me to say, and Ashton Kutcher. I was like, what?
Yeah.
How do you know?
He had that Demi Moore.
Yeah.
Then they got a divorce, and then he had married that Mila Kunis after they had dated on That 70s Show, and then they had a bunch of kids, and now they're happy adults together.
Well, that's nice for them.
Yeah.
Good
so
for them.
she is the titular Jupiter. She is a Russian immigrant that lives in Chicago. She cleans toilets for a living because her mother, who was a mathematics professor, left Russia when her husband was murdered in a robbery. So they hightail it on a boat to Chicago, where she soon discovers that she is the genetic replication of a queen of a family called Abrasics. And her 3 children are squabbling over the inheritance. There are spliced creatures, one of which is Channing Tatum, who plays the character Kane Wise. He is part wolf / dog. His friend, Ned Stark, is, I learned from Wikipedia, half honeybee.
I found that out too. I was reading a review. I was like, he was a bee splice?
That's why his name is Stinger.
That makes so much sense now.
And explains why he lives in his cottagecore fantasy with all the bees and
right.
flowers. Yes. So then, basically...
Can he smell royalty?
Probably. He did kneel and was like, holy shit, it's the queen. There is many fight scenes that are very long and boring.
So long.
There are several scenes in which Mila Kunis is about to get tricked into signing a document and Channing Tatum has to rescue her. And that's like 2/3 of the movie. Yeah, there's some good space. There is some cool plot stuff with like, a transhuman world where, a planet is seeded with human beings that are basically just raised to create like a life serum that helps people not have wrinkles.
We're livestock.
Yeah.
Yes, people are livestock.
But at least like livestock is like for food, but like just to stay young a little bit more. Ugh, I don't know. But yeah, so there's I was reading the Wikipedia plot summary and there was a notification that says this may be too detailed. And I was like, you can't get detailed enough. Like
There's so much. They had a 220-page script for this movie.
It's amazing because not much happens.
So
a lot of things happen, but not much happens.
reading the Wachowski sisters like description of what they were doing here is really interesting because of what they were trying to do and what they did are not always in line, I think. But I don't know.
There's too much for one movie. This should have been a 10-part Netflix
I
series.
unironically love this movie.
I think it's fun.
Yeah, I have a blast watching it.
It did not get good reviews.
I also still intend to do the wedding dress cosplay for Dragon
that would
Con
be
some
That thing
year.
is badass.
It's gorgeous. And I was looking at the headdress last night closely, and I was like, I could absolutely make this from Michaels and Joann's. Absolutely.
That dress in particular, and the second marriage to Titus, she looks like the cover of a St. Vincent album.
She does.
It's very cool. It's like very artsy and like sci-fi. All right, I would like to read a review from...
Oh yeah, what do we do? What are we calling this segment?
what was it? So one of our listeners, Victoria, suggested Rotten Tomato tidbits.
Rotten Tomatoes.
I thought it was Rotten Tomato slices.
Either.
okay.
Yeah, she said, or you could go with, if you want to stick with alliteration, Rotten Tomato tidbits.
I like the slices.
Okay, Rotten Tomato slices.
Yeah, mine's not from Rotten Tomatoes because a lot of those were just like short and to the point.
Yeah.
So I got a paragraph from RogerEbert.com, not by Roger Ebert because he's dead, but one of his people that work there. I thought I had to explain that because it is still his website. Where he's a brand. Maybe
That's
he's
confusing.
Maybe he's like James Patterson. I don't know. Okay, so this one focuses specifically on Eddie Redmayne, although my favorite short little quip about this movie is that it is aggressively dull.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
okay.
100% going to link the toast shouting about movies
yeah. Like,
in the show notes of this.
They did this podcast 7 years ago.
Right.
In G-Chat form when they were just talking about
Yeah,
it.
I love
It's so
it's
good.
movie yelling, right?
Yeah,
movie yelling.
yeah.
I love it.
Okay, here we go. At least Redmayne's mannered acting plants a freak flag in the movie's swollen purplish heart. At times, his performance seems modeled on how Redmayne imagines Glenn Close might look and sound should she live to be 100. He trembles and flares his nostrils. He whispers 90% of his lines and shrieks the other 10. Not once does he blink when you expect him to, or for as long. Did Redmayne decide it was necessary to destroy the film in order to save it? If so, give the man an A for anarchy.
I create life.
The way he holds his hands in all the scenes is just, I love it.
I think that Eddie Redmayne's Razzie is unfair because I feel that he understood the assignment
100%.
and he got an A on this paper. Now, if your assignment is a bad assignment, what are you supposed to do?
He didn't write the script.
He gave it his all.
Yeah.
I think he did.
sure did. I
think he did what he was
am
asked to
on
do.
board with every character choice Eddie Redmayne made in this movie.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, the worst part of this movie, I think, is Mila Kunis because everything she says is basically just what.
And I also think that was her assignment.
Yep. She's
Aw.
well, we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to her. I have thoughts about that.
Okay. More reviews?
Yeah, I have two very short ones. My first very favorite one is when you pull this movie up on Amazon Prime, it is described as cerebral.
Oh, I saw that tag.
And I do not think that's accurate.
Well, I think it might be because you have to balance a lot. Like,
I guess
wait,
that's
what?
you have to think about a lot. My two favorite reviews off of Rotten Tomatoes were just these are from the synopses, like little thumbnail you get for the reviews. But they were just two really good one-liners. One of them is from Chris McCoy of the Memphis Flyer. He says, "It might sound strange to say, but Jupiter Ascending lacks Keanu Reeves."
Aw.
I mean, this is the Matrix. But
Plus Star Wars.
the other one is from Andrew Galdi of Movie Bitches. He says, "I don't think I can recommend it."
That's so nice of him.
But he gave it 5 out of 10. So,
So I did the audience reviews. And let me tell you, they're not as fun as Goodreads. People on Goodreads are doing the work.
Yeah.
yeah.
People on Rotten Tomatoes are just like, bleh. So Ted W., I do like how on Rotten Tomatoes you can give something half a star. So on Rotten Tomatoes, Ted W. gave it half a star and said, the cinematic equivalent of a shart.
Oh, no.
Not nice.
Yeah, and I don't think it's true either because a shart happens by accident, and I don't think this movie was
This
an
was
accident.
purposeful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Antonio F. says, really strong 0.5 star movie here, complete with graphics. Only complaint is that there was only one scene where they used the space boots to grind a rail.
That was a very good part.
Man, those boots do so much.
And I got one more I want to share. It's a 3-star review from Mike J. on Rotten Tomatoes, and it says, Sonic is a movie, theaters, movie, theater, and Sonic Theaters in North King. And I don't know what that
he
means.
published that on Rotten Tomatoes?
On April 28th, 2022.
Is it in quotes? Is it part of a larger review?
No.
Oh.
That's the whole thing. Do you think he sat on his phone?
Yes.
Is this a butt dial review?
But like it's perfectly spelled.
We a predictive text will just give you words.
Maybe that's how he reviewed it. He just did predictive tests and was like, that's how they wrote it. Why not do it as a review?
Yeah, who knows?
Oh, God bless. God bless Jupiter Ascending forever.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So before we get started with general discussion, I would like to take... I believe that this movie is pure camp.
Yes.
And camp is a very hard to explain subject. It's kind of like obscenity. You know it when you see it. But Susan Sontag wrote an essay in 1964 called Notes on Camp. And I think a couple of... There's like numbered paragraphs that... And I want to just point out a couple. One, let's see. Let's start with... Okay, number 24. When something is just bad rather than camp with a capital C, it's often because it is too mediocre in its ambition. The artist hasn't attempted to do anything really outlandish. It's too much, it's too fantastic, it's not to be believed are standard phrases of camp enthusiasm. The hallmark of camp is the spirit of extravagance. Camp is a woman walking around in a dress made of 3 million feaththers. That's the scene where she marries Titus.
Yes.
The ultimate camp statement. It's good because it's awful.
Oh,
Of course, one can always say that, only under certain conditions, those which I've tried to sketch in these notes. So,
yeah.
Yep. It's just camp. It's just...
Well, I was saying that, like, you know, the Wachowski sisters, they take big swings. They do. And everything they do is like, we're going for the cheap seats. And I think sometimes, you know, when you do that, you're either going to hit big or miss big, right? Mm-hmm. But even when they miss big, they have this vision that you don't really get from many other people. Like, man, they had this whole universe mapped out. They had all the backstory. They knew everything about everybody in this movie. They didn't get to tell us all of it. But you know that nothing they did was accidental.
What you just said reminds me of my favorite episode of This American Life, and the title of it is Fiasco. And one of the storytellers talks about in his small hometown, the local theater company decided to do an avant-garde production of Peter Pan, and it goes horribly awry. And he's like, that's when you end up in the territory of a fiasco. When he's like, you reach for the stars and you either land there and something is truly great, or you have a fiasco.
Aww. You can't have a fiasco if you don't try something big.
That episode of This American Life is so good. It is so funny. Everybody, after you finish listening to this hilarious podcast, go listen to that hilarious podcast because it is so good.
Yeah. I will also always reward people for writing new stories instead of having a 37th Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean.
Agreed.
So.
I mean, this was unlike... I mean, it's like a lot of movies, but it's unlike any one movie.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, there was new characters. There was... one of the things that I love most about this plot is the idea of genetics as, like, something to be worshipped. Like, the mathematical probability of Jupiter reoccurring in the same genetic sequence, like she looks similar, she's basically like a twin, as this famous matriarch. I think it's kind of a neat idea.
It is a neat idea.
I just thought it was funny. They were literally swimming in a gene pool.
That's funny.
I know. I like that idea too. And I don't know if it's scientifically possible, but one of the best things about this movie is that they do not care if what they are doing is possible.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of good science fiction can be like that. Like, a lot of hard science fiction can be a little boring.
I read this good little apologia of this movie this morning. Let me pull up who it was because it's pretty good. It is. Bye.
While you're doing that, I do think the idea of like that people have existed for so long in such vast quantities that it does. I mean, I don't find it like wildly implausible that you might end up with a twin. You know, if we truly are inhabiting like gajillions of planets over millions or hundreds of thousands of years. Why wouldn't we?
I mean, we're all related.
Well, and there are people who meet people who look just like them.
Yeah.
So things similar to that do happen. So I think it's not, I mean, obviously it's outlandish, but it's not like something that you couldn't possibly consider maybe happening. And then the question becomes like, do you have your own identity? I think there's some interesting big questions in here.
I do too. And they were talking, I mean, as far as bees smelling royalty and genes... they were basically saying that royalty is an inherent trait that runs in your genes. Like,
well, we have that.
Right. No, I know. So, like, I mean, that's something that exists on Earth. I mean, you know, people say
the divine right of kings.
Yeah, and royalty is, you know, people treat royal people as if they're different.
Well, but I wonder, so there's something to be said for, like, you know, in England, you were the king's heir if you were, like, the genetic son. Whereas, like, these bees are smelling
royalty.
Whatever that means. Like, there's not something inherent in your genes. Like,
right.
They just have to know that you're of a family.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Stark is like, it's not what you do, it's what you are. And I think, I mean, obviously it doesn't matter. This movie is not, like, the messaging here is not important. But it was interesting because there are moments in the movie that are, like, very anti-capitalist, and yet we also still have this thread running through it that your DNA is what makes you worthy to be the owner of the earth. And I was like, I'm getting some mixed messages from this movie politically. But again, it's not like it matters. But I was just sort of thinking about, like, we do that too. And I mean, it is equally stupid.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't necessarily saying that just because you have royal genes, you're going to do a good job. They're just saying you get it.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's just like the title passes to you. So this movie, is an homage to lots of science fiction and pop culture movies. I really like the scene. So when Eddie Redmayne is like, I create life because if he creates destruction, that's like the scene in The Fifth Element when Gary Oldman's like, he knocks the thing off. I think I've probably mentioned
I create
this on the podcast
jobs for
before.
all these little things.
Yeah, basically, it's like justify.
Yeah.
It's a very capitalistic. Like I create life by creating dash.
I'm a job creator.
Amy, what were you were looking something up.
I was just going to talk. We were talking about science being. They don't care if the science is real in this movie. And this, I read this article called "The Unpopular Opinion: Jupiter Ascending is the gorgeous, big-hearted antidote to cynical science fiction."
Yeah, I love that.
And it's by Vanessa Bogart, and it appeared on slashfilm.com. I will link it. But she says, this movie is really science. It's like space fantasy.
Yeah.
Which we've talked about before, like kind of Star Wars-y, kind of Fifth Element-y, but it's a fairy tale. And it makes a lot of sense. And in that sense, they don't really care if the science is real. It's not hard science fiction. They don't care.
Yeah.
It's the Wachowskis were really writing Wizard of Oz or Alice in Wonderland.
Cinderella.
They wanted to put this girl heroine in through the looking glass, basically send her off, give her what she wishes, which is an extraordinary life and finding the love of her life, and see how that pans out. And she has to meet all these little bosses along the way and get back to what she really matters, which is her family.
I
right?
said exactly that to Kevin. I was like, it's just like they defeat one boss and then move on to the next one.
Exactly. That's exactly how it rolls out. And it's like, it doesn't really matter if the plot holds together. That's not really the point of it, I don't think.
Yeah. I take a little issue with her being a heroine because she doesn't really do much to like the last scene.
But they definitely wanted her to be the center of the movie because they did this article, they did this interview. They were talking about how the studio was, when you have a girl or a woman in the middle of a movie, they want her to kind of act like a man. They want her to fight things and be strong and, be aggressive and that sort of thing. And they were like, no, we want this woman to come into this world, try to have empathy, try to understand where people are coming from. Yeah, that leads her to a lot of problems and she has to be rescued by the big man, but we can get to that later.
Yeah.
But, they wanted her to be the heart of the movie, which was a choice. I don't know that it worked as well as they were hoping, just because I don't think Mila Kunis was really up for this role. But, I don't think she could really hold it.
I think she needed to be a little more cunning or something, though. Like, she's literally surprised into signing documents.
Yeah.
Well, they ended up trying to make her so feminine that they made her passive.
They made her very naive and passive.
Naive and passive. And I don't know if that, because even Alice in Wonderland had some skepticism.
Yeah.
Although she did drink everything put in front of her.
That's true.
My thought about it, it said drink me on it, Amy.
I mean, it literally
She's
said
just
drink
following
me.
the directions. They wouldn't put it on the label if it was dangerous. My thought about that is I think she's a pretty poorly written character. I mean, we don't really know anything about her except that she dreams of a bigger life. She likes nice clothes and she wants to fall in love.
She wants a $4,000 telescope, but she never talks about space.
Oh, never talks about it. And suddenly she genetically desires a telescope.
How about a starter one from Costco for $2.99?
Right, no kidding. But I actually think Mila Kunis does a pretty good job with what she's given, because I was saying last time we were watching it, I was like, I don't know anything about her really of substance, but I still root for her. And I think that's because Mila Kunis has sort of a funny demeanor when she's saying these lines. Like the scene where she's like, I love dogs. I've always loved dogs. And it's like, you laugh out loud at it. And then he leaves. And then she's like talking to herself about it. Like you would if you said something really ridiculous to somebody you have a crush on. So I think even though I think the character is not well developed, for me, I think that her portrayal makes the character likable and relatable. So I think she did a good job with what she had. She just didn't have much.
I said that literal thing because I was sticking up for her. I go round and round about her, I guess. I was sticking up for her because it's like, if you don't have much to work with, what can you do? And the script of this movie is not that good. The dialogue is not good. There's lots of, what did Daniel Orbrick said? There's a lot of exposition at gunpoint.
Yes. Yeah, so much exposition at gunpoint.
So she didn't have a whole, and there was just zero chemistry between her and Channing Tatum. And so, I mean, I don't know if they didn't screen test those two or like what was happening there. But so a lot of what the situations that she's supposed to carry, like hitting on Channing and like telling him that she likes dogs. I mean, it comes out of nowhere and I don't think she really sells it, but I don't know.
You know who should be opposite Chan?
Who?
Chan?
Amy's mom.
My mother.
Oh, that's right.
Although Channing Tatum has been replacing my mother's affections with Henry Cavill.
Oh, okay.
She's a little obsessed with Henry right now.
Okay.
I think he's an objectively handsomer man.
Oh, I don't know. Channing's pretty cute. But Channing in this movie is like,
They styled him all wrong.
He's not attractive.
No.
His body looks weird. His face has pubes. Like, it's
the
strange.
bleach job that they've done on his hair is not a proper bleach job.
No.
It's like boys in 8th grade in 1990.
He's a Tyler.
Yes, he looks like a Tyler. It's like yellow. And then we notice that at certain points in the movie, his hair is brown again.
Yep.
It's like at one point he was just like, I can't do it today. I can't do it. And they're like, okay. And then the next scene, it's yellow again.
Yeah.
And the eyeliner, the poorly applied eyeliner, what's going on, guys?
So it's supposed to be a pelt. The facial hair is supposed to be like a wolfy hair.
Okay.
So that's the only explanation I've heard for why it looks so weird. But you guys, they had a scene where we were going to see Channing Tatum as a baby puppy in a litter. A litter. And I really wish we had seen that. And I'm so sad that it did not make the cut. But it wasn't, the movie's not about him, so we didn't see it.
Yeah.
But,
But it doesn't make sense though, because like even with the lady with the deer ears, like they're completely human except for like one weird exaggerated feature.
but they're not completely human.
But
He
they
can
look
smell
exactly.
things.
Well, yeah, but like I couldn't imagine him being born to a dog.
Oh, yeah, he was in a litter. So he wasn't born as a dog. He was
Yeah.
in a litter of other people who are half wolf, half people. And they had a whole thing where they were like suckling at the teat and like
Of a like fake thing?
of like their mother or whatever their mother is.
They had a physical mother.
Yeah.
Oh, I assume that
Well,
when they're like gene spliced, that they're like, born in
and
a
then
They just look like 90.
mechanical womb thing or something.
They look like 95 human, 5% dog. So
well,
yeah.
he's got those sticky uppy ears like a corgi.
Yeah, exactly. But like that's like the only that and like his that's really his only dog.
Teddy
feature.
has eyeliner. I was thinking maybe
He
the
has a pelt.
eyeliner
The
was
pelt.
supposed to be like how dogs kind of have eyeliner. Teddy has that perfect
Yes.
winged eyeliner.
that is true. He can smell things. He's
Yeah,
like a tracker.
he's got like skills, but like I think in terms of like corporeal form, he's basically human.
He ripped that one person's throat out who we never hear about or learn why.
Oh yeah.
Or never come back to either. Why did he rip that person's throat out? Why does it matter that we know that? Do some that was one of the plot things that drove me nuts.
Adds an element of danger to the romance,
Do
a
you-
la Twilight.
Do you
the
feel
Twilight.
like biting me?
Yeah, it does have its Twilight moments, doesn't it?
Ah.
Oh man, this movie.
I mean, she definitely, I'm not a fan of very quick love stories, but this one seems very quick.
So
And
quick.
she's very attached, and he's giving nothing back. He's just like, hey.
Until the end when he licks her face when
Yep.
they're kissing.
So, I mean,
He kisses like a dog.
she wakes up every morning at 4:45. Her life sucks. I get it. But like, this is the first guy she's met, it looks like.
Does he have a moist nose?
A what?
A moist nose.
Oh, Amy.
A dog breath.
Does he lick his butt?
Maybe he likes kibble.
He humps everything.
Whoa.
Or nothing, as the case may be.
I think if they had gotten rid of some of the more campy things like a dog man, this Channing Tatum, like there is such a good movie in
Yeah,
this.
he could have just been a space guy.
Yeah,
he
like-
could have just been a disgraced soldier. The wings thing is cool.
The wings thing, yeah, that's like very like Constantine with the
Yeah.
angel.
Amy.
Why do you need wings if you have space boots? And why do you need wings in space? There's
It's true, it's like-
there's no air.
Belt and suspenders.
I don't think he works just in space. I think he works on planets.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he does have his moon boots. The moon boots
Yeah.
are so funny. He looks like he's speed skating.
I know they're space rollerblades.
So I was imagining like real life Channing Tatum, the actor, acting like he was skating. So he's like, I swing my arms very far, side to side.
You got to get the momentum going.
Channing Tatum did not have a good time making this movie.
Aw.
He has
That's too
he
bad.
has said that he did not have a good
You
time.
would think like a movie like that, hopefully everybody at least had a good time.
Well, that's
but-
what we were hoping too.
Yeah.
I was like, surely this was just good campy fun and everybody was having a great time. But apparently all of those scenes where they shot this big fight scene during sunrise in Chicago, and that sunrise color light only lasts 6 minutes a day. Oh, wow. So they had to film for 6 minutes, like for months.
That's like that episode of 30 Rock where they film there's like 1 minute of daytime in like Iceland or something, and Jenna Maroney has to like spend 6 months filming. Wow, that's real life. Holy crap. Wow.
Did you notice? I think you can see the Shikon Hotel during
Oh,
that
really?
scene.
I don't know what it looks like.
I was like, I hope they put it back together before we get there.
Yeah, I'm excited about. Oh, as an aside, I was researching the right pizza to get in Chicago, and there's one famous old establishment that's not a chain apparently called Pequod's, and it's whale themed. We'll have to take an Uber. It's like a 20-minute ride. But I think we
Obviously.
can
Worth it.
But yeah, but like there's a lot closer, like Giordano's and like there's a man's name. I forget. There's a lot of Chicago pizza,
A
obviously.
man's name.
But yeah, it's like Lou Malzoni or something.
Oh, that's where I ate with my
Yeah.
friends Maddie and Brianna.
Yeah. And
Lou Malzani or
yeah,
Lou,
yeah. It's like Lou somebody. But I think Pequod's would be cool. And then they're like, if there's a wait, you go across the street to like a whaling tavern bar. And I was like, well, obviously.
Oh, they knew we were coming.
they did.
If anyone wants to join us, we'll be eating whale pizza.
They rolled out the blubber carpet.
I was wondering how we would get to a whaling aside in this talking about Jupiter ascending.
It always happens.
I will say they have good fish ships. The ships are fish shaped. Like
The
I'm so
technology's
glad
great.
they made pretty ships.
Oh, they're
'cause ships
gorgeous.
Always
it's
look
like
ridiculous.
Infinity with the ships.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There were fish ships?
Wasn't
Yeah,
there?
if you look, so watch it again sometime.
Yeah.
And like the ship in particular that they take in to see Titus.
Okay.
When she almost signs the
Is Titus
marriage.
Eddie Redmayne or
No.
Big Square Jaw?
Big square jaw.
Square Jaw, okay.
That one in particular looks like a big like beta fish or something.
The-
Like, it looks really
Just
cool.
missed it.
The metal is very dynamic and it shifts and changes positions, but like it looks like fish sometimes. It's cool.
I think that this movie aesthetically has just enough steampunk to make like stuff in space look beautiful.
Yeah, it's like high fantasy sci-fi, which is cool. So
Yes.
yeah,
Agreed. I also really like their the royal children's compounds that they have. So like they have Kalik as the daughter, and she has this like sort of goddess situation going on
Yeah.
where she lives, and it's all very beautiful and flowy and candles and
It all
empire waisted dresses and
It all looks like the planet Naboo from the Phantom Menace.
yeah. And then Titus has his like sort of Caligula type thing going on.
oh,
Like
yeah.
he has a lot of
the
Romanesque
space orgy.
statuary, and he has the zero gravity orgy, and like he's just rolling around in all the excess. And then Balim has like it's all industrial and machinery and
Refinery. Yeah.
scary.
And whispering.
And he's whispering about I create Lord.
Perfect. I love him so much.
His eyes are also at least 1/3 of the way closed whenever he's talking.
Oh my god, the blink he does that one scene where it takes about 45 frames for his eyes to close.
So many times this happens.
I don't know if that's a lot of frames or not, but I meant to say a lot of frames.
Yeah. Many times in Hollywood, when an actor wins an Oscar, they then do a silly movie. So, like, Halle Berry did, I think she won an Oscar for Monsters Ball, and then she
Yeah.
did Catwoman. So, Eddie Redmayne won an Oscar for playing Stephen Hawking, a very hard role.
Oh, right.
And then he was like, I'm going to be a space guy.
Yeah. A palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Going to whisper.
I think he's the best part of the movie. I think he's great.
I agree.
I think he's very
He
funny.
brings something to this movie that nobody else does.
Oh, I think this movie could also be called Penetration because it's a lot of Channing Tatum pushing through spaceship walls, like an armada of murder bots, literal walls, just to rescue her. But like he's always breaking through.
It's true. He's like the Kool-Aid guy.
He is constantly
It's like, don't sign that.
He's constantly penetrating defenses.
Yeah, I mean, he's like literally just like breaking through stuff to help her.
He is very much a Mary Sue.
I made a list. He's not a Mary Sue.
He is.
He spent his whole life in the army and he's a tracker.
He's good at everything, though. He needs to plunge through the wall of a royal spaceship.
How did he know how to drive a car?
I wondered that too. That's what I'm saying. Like literally anything he needs to do, he knows how to do.
Well, he is half wolf, Lori.
He's very adept at parkour.
I mean, he was in the Legion. I mean,
He's a
he was
rollerblader.
trained.
He was a skyfall. What was he called? A sky something?
I don't know, Skyhawk or something.
Guys, I made a list of all the times he rescues her. Hold on. There were 6. He rescues her. He saves her from being killed at the fertility doctor where she signed up to give her eggs for $5,000, but the dude gets $10,000. He rescued her from the slowest space elevator ever with lots of property damage. That's the first 20-minute fight scene that we
Oh,
did.
it's so boring.
He rescues her from the Children of the Corn when they go see the bees.
That was some good corn.
He rescues her from Kalik and the gene pool. That's right after that is when she says, I love dogs. He rescues her from a wedding, and he rescues her from abdicating. Although, in her defense, she did decide not to abdicate before he got there.
And he rescues her at the end when she's falling into whatever is the fiery pit.
Fiery Pit of Doom is part of
Yeah.
number 6. But I guess that's a separate rescue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So that's
Because she
7?
just like bludgeoned Eddie Redmayne with a piece of rebar and
Yeah.
then
I'm
Not your
fell.
mother.
Yeah.
I liked that scene, and I was really hoping she would. I couldn't remember, so I was like, I hope she gets to kill him. Because the thing I hate is when some secondary character comes along and saves the hero to spare them from killing the villain. I want them to be able to kill the villain, so I really wanted to see her fling Eddie Redmayne into the pit. But I still liked that scene when she said, "I'm not your mother." She's like, gross.
Can you imagine the pitch? It's like, do you want to see a final duel between Eddie Redmayne and Mila Kunis? No? Okay. It was cool.
She's the hero we didn't know we needed.
Until the end of the movie. And then she's like, oh, I'm tough now.
And then she gets her own space rollerblades and loves her life as a toilet cleaner. How many toilets does she clean in the movie?
5.
She cleans 5 toilets in this movie. So many toilets.
A lot are in montage, but yeah. I just feel so bad for her mother, the professor. Ugh.
That's what happens to immigrants a lot.
You know, it's interesting that that scene where the Mr. Jarvis from Agent Carter gets killed. Her dad.
Which one is he?
Her dad.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
Mr. Jarvis, right? Yeah. They rush in and they go, "Give me our money!" And then they're like, "The oscilloscope!" And they run. And it's such a funny thing. Like, it's not like really how robberies. I mean, I've only been robbed once, but it's not. It just. It's funny.
I thought they were spies or something.
Well, yeah, I was like, it would have made more sense to me, and I feel like it could have been done in a few sentences that, like, it was some kind of political thing,
Sure,
and then that would explain why she fled the country. Now, maybe she just fled because she didn't want to be there anymore, which is a perfectly valid reason to flee. But it just like all these masked men burst into an apartment of people who seem to have modest means and go,
Yeah.
"Give us your money," and then they run away with it.
I mean, it's 5,000 rubles probably.
I was like, robberies exist in real life. You didn't have to make up like a goofy one.
Well, I was reading in the very detailed Wikipedia plot summary that she was going to live in America because her sister lived there to get help with the baby, I guess. But
Yeah, that's a reason you would go. That's
Yeah,
a reason
that's
you
true.
would go.
Did we know that from the movie?
oh, not at all, not at all.
The sister was on the boat.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and they're in a shipping container.
Yeah, it's like they're being smuggled out, which is weird because you can go visit a country like
Well,
sometimes.
yeah.
Well, this would have been the 90s in Russia?
Oh no,
Probably
it would have been in the 80s.
80s.
Yeah, because she's our age.
80s,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, God bless. I don't know. But I don't know why they didn't just kill him with, like, a car wreck.
Yeah,
Or space debris. Or
she didn't even have to start as a Russian. She could have just been like a kid living in, or a 25-year-old woman just like working in a magazine job.
Well, I think part of it is why her life is so hard is
that's
because
true.
she's undocumented.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
She was born somewhere over the Atlantic.
Well, and also
She's a man without a country.
She's a man without a country.
Also in the Wikipedia, they said that Vanessa Kirby is her friend in the movie. I thought it was like her employer. Maybe it's both.
Well, she comes in and says, "I'm finished." Like she's cleaning the house.
that's-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was
She's
both.
like a friend. Yeah. Yeah.
She's a friend cleaner.
Yeah.
Who's Vanessa Kirby? Catherine
the naked
Dunleavy?
one?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Amy doesn't like her nudity.
My misogynist moment.
Well, I think though that is probably representative of how a lot of people treat their employee. I don't want to say like the help, but I feel like that's probably how someone like that thinks of. You know,
Like,
like
you're my friend, but I pay you.
yeah, exactly. Or you're my friend, but I pay you, and I pay you to like be
Also-
helpful to me.
Also talk to me about my date.
Yeah,
And,
but like, I bet if Jupiter tried to be like, "I'm having this boy problem, and what should I wear?"
Right.
She'd be like, "Why are you talking to me about it?" You know. So I think that's like maybe a fairly accurate class thing, which is all through this. I mean, that is one of the things I think of the movie is like trying to do is some class commentary.
Oh, 100%.
and do you know on that subject?
I mean, Eddie has that whole speech about
Yeah.
how some people are just going to matter more than others.
Yeah, and he's not wrong. That is how the system is designed. And I think then it ends up to me undercut by how Jupiter has such a boner for Channing Tatum calling her Your Majesty.
Yep.
And he's literally a genetically engineered slave soldier. And she's like, "I don't like it when other people call me that, but I like it when you call me that." And I was like, that feels a little weird to me.
I don't know. If I grew up cleaning toilets and someone called me Your Majesty, I might be kind of into it.
I mean, it's true. Like she didn't. She's new to this, but I feel like she doesn't like anyone else calling her that, but she likes him calling her
But
that.
they're a pack, Lori. That's his pack.
She's the pack leader now.
Yes.
Well, and I like in the movie Yelling article, they're like, she didn't have to become queen or anything, but she could have gotten like a less slutty job. Like she could work at Starbucks and not clean toilets. Like
She's still undocumented though. You can't work at Starbucks.
She could probably get some money and pay somebody with some space cash.
I was curious, like, what, I mean, she says at the end, too, she's like, I wonder what it means that I own the Earth. Because I was like, does she have money now? Like,
surely she'd get some
That
money.
wasn't her only inheritance either.
well, that was the only thing we saw. Because
Yeah.
I wondered that, too. I was like, this mom who died was, like, the biggest queen. And all we know is that she inherited the Earth.
Here's the thing. All she has to do is harvest a couple of unredeemable individuals,
And sell their juice.
make a bunch of money, get a spaceship, and then she can, like, have half a good life and half a life. You know what I mean? Like, her mom would probably like to live on a spaceship with luxury.
Or if she had Earth money, then she could pay for them to go through the Byzantine unfair immigration system
How do you
in the
translate
US.
your space money into Earth?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and who would believe you? Like, where'd you get this money from?
I mean, I'm just saying, maybe there's one or two people we could harvest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I still don't know if I'd be jumping out of bed, though, to, like, make coffee. But she's got a new lease on life.
Well, that's what
Maybe-
happens at the end of, Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland, and she has a new appreciation for her
Never have
home.
looked farther than my own backyard.
That's right.
Which is
I mean, yeah. God bless her.
But you can only change yourself in your situation, You can't change the people you live with. You can't change the bureaucracy around immigration. All you can do is change your own attitude. And that's what she did, kids.
man, that's a terrible lesson.
Yeah.
Don't try to change the world. Find a way to be happy about it.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, like I said, mixed messages with this movie. And again, not that it really matters because this is a silly movie, but
Yeah.
Seeing this movie in theaters was very fun. Like,
I bet.
the boring long fight scenes are less boring in, like, IMAX.
Yeah.
For sure.
I had a great time going to see this movie in the theater. Great time.
I was thinking last night this would be really fun to see in
It's
theaters.
absolutely
Especially the, like,
stupid, and I love it.
views of the big ships.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That was great. That was great.
Planets and
They do good space in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The costumes are beautiful.
That wedding scene on the big screen was just
Yeah.
I bet.
fantastic.
I'm making that dress.
Yeah.
The spacesuits where you, like, press the little disc and it goes around your body. That was cool.
Oh yeah, those are cool too.
Yep.
The moon boots are cool.
When she gets out of the pool and she's just automatically dry and dressed in like 3 seconds.
Oh, I like how they have the Dyson air wand.
Yeah.
They just like wave it over her head and her hair's dry and curled.
It's like, yes, I want that technology. Where's my flying car and my Dyson Air wand?
My favorite alien in this movie is the dinosaur that's wearing a leather jacket. It's like Judi Dench wearing a fur coat when she's a cat in the movie Cats.
If you have an exoskeleton, I mean,
He's just cool.
we wear things we don't need for fashion. So I guess
I've just never seen a lizard do it. It was great. I'm here for it.
I've also never seen a lizard do it.
Yeah, like not even. I mean, a Ninja Turtle would wear like a trench coat sometimes, but
if we had just let the dinosaurs be, maybe they'd all be wearing leather jackets by now.
he was cool. Oh, and then our favorite scene, the bureaucracy scene.
Oh,
That's
Terry.
perfect. It's perfect.
It's so good. And the Bobs, I think it was in the that movie Shouting where they were like the scene where the two Bobs meet, the two bureaucracy Bobs.
Mhm.
There's like more chemistry in that scene between those two guys than there is between Mila
totally.
and
They're
Channing the whole rest of the movie.
I love. So you mentioned earlier one of Eddie Redmayne's blinks, which was funny to me
There
because
was one blink that's like,
there's a
105 frames.
there's a blink by Blonde Bob, Jupiter's
Oh.
Bob, that was the most real moment in that movie. So he's at the clerk's office and the clerk is like, no, but you need the this and the this and the this and this. And he does like this tight smile and a long blink. And I was like, oh, I felt it.
And like there's a spark from
I
somewhere
felt
over here.
it. It's like you have to keep being polite and it is taking years off of your life. And the tight smile and the long blink.
Yep.
mhm.
Okay. I'll go do that and then I'll be back. Thank you. I was just like, oh, that is chef's kiss. It's so good.
This whole movie is worth watching just for that bureaucracy scene.
It's so
It's
funny.
so good.
You could even,
and then
like-
Terry shows up in the end.
You could even just watch it on YouTube, just that scene, and get like all you need from it.
You know what it's like to be a lawyer.
Obviously, Graft is incompatible with my programming.
Oh, it's so funny. Kevin, do you remember why I wrote down in my notes Channing Tatum is Mothman?
because you're obsessed
Did
with
he
Mothman right now.
Oh,
Oh, because he was flying around above Chicago with the big wings.
he was Mothman.
Because I've been reading Mothman Prophecies, which was recommended by a listener, P. Scott, and there are all these sightings of a man with wings flying around all these different cities, and so
It's
when
Channing Tatum.
he went flying through, and it in broad daylight, and I was like, "Oh, it's him! It was him all along."
I can only assume that like they buzz people's brains after all this and nobody remembers. I don't know how they get away with this all the time.
Or they just are like, yeah, it's Mothman.
Moth manager.
That's how. Oh, she did say they were responsible for a lot of our myths, like vampire myths and stuff like that. So maybe people don't forget; they just turn them into folklore. So much in this movie.
That is it for my general talking points. Do y'all have any more?
I like how, when we were talking about how they defeat the bosses and then they're just gone. So the sister, after they leave the gene pool, never see her again. Square Jaw, after he rescues her from the wedding, just gone. Never see him again.
He's like, I guess we lose.
Yeah, they're just gone and they don't come back. I kind of like the tidiness of that, though. There's nothing hanging over your head other than the bad guy that's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun.
And I appreciate about Balim is that the other two siblings were trying to like trick her, and he's just like, I have your family.
Oh, so that scene is so funny where he's got the family under the floor and they're like in knife chopping torture machines. And she's like, I'll do anything you want. Just give me back my family. And he was like,
It's not so simple.
and then he turns on the machine and all the choppers are coming for her mom. And she's like, just give me back my family. I'll do whatever you want. And he's like, okay. And I was like, why did they do that scene 2 times and end it differently?
Yeah.
And then she agrees to do it after he gives her the pardon for Stinger and
The dog.
and Channing.
Uh-huh.
Which at that point, she probably could just like say peace out and Channing and them could come back and rescue her family.
I mean, none of them. He was like,
I guess Channing wasn't there yet.
This is not a negotiation.
and then I was
but
like,
it
well,
is.
why do you have her family then?
It is
Or,
a
like,
negotiation.
why are they still alive?
You're trying to have hostages. It's
Well,
a
and I would-
negotiation.
Yeah.
And I would also never trust him. Like,
Oh,
he could
yeah.
say yes. So, like, I would still be like, I'm just fucked.
I guess I always assume that, no, most people are not trustworthy in this movie that she meets, but everybody's got a goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's a Lord of Honor Amongst Thieves kind of thing.
Oh, I don't think he has any honor, though. I think he was just going to kill all of them.
Well, I think he would have let her live out her life and then harvested Earth, which is what he said he
Oh,
would
see,
do.
but I thought he was going to harvest Earth like the next day. I
Well,
thought he already
going,
said that.
He was going to if she... So he wanted to do that in order to stop her from doing her claim on Earth, right? Because it was his until it was hers. And then... But then she gets the Aegis involved and he couldn't do it anymore.
Okay.
And then she got her inheritance, then he couldn't do it without her giving it to him.
I think he's sneaky. I don't trust him.
Who can say?
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts, yeah.
I think it's worth mentioning that bees don't lie. It's a very important plot point.
It's like that Shakira song.
Hips don't lie.
BDL.
Bees can smell royalty and they don't lie.
They can smell royalty.
They can smell it on you.
What happens when there's a coup?
Yeah.
Right.
How do they know?
I guess you're still royalty.
Maybe bees are like slightly robotic and they get like a programming update and they're like, nope, now it's the Smiths, not the Jones.
Like, what if the bees happened upon Anastasia? Oh, guess what we found out? So you know how a symptom of her being royal is that she's never been stung by a bee? Kevin has never been stung by a bee.
Oh, shoot. I thought I hadn't been stung by a bee. Then I remembered I stepped on one when I was playing Frisbee one time. It stung me.
Were you barefoot?
I was. It was a choice I made.
Barefoot
that I
Frisbee.
regretted. It was kind of hippie Frisbee.
I don't think I have. Maybe I have. I don't know. Like a
So
wasp?
have we checked to see if Kevin's royalty? Or?
I mean, it stands to reason. I've definitely been stung by bees, like playing outside as a little kid.
I only been stung one time.
So-
because I stepped right on him.
Do you guys know about the, like, you break open a cigarette and you put it on a bee sting?
I've done that for jellyfish stings before.
A cigarette on a jellyfish
Why?
sting?
Well, the tobacco, you rub it on there and the tobacco pulls out there's little barbs. This is true.
I've heard about ammonia. I've never heard about a cigarette on a
It's not the tobacco. So
The texture.
When jellyfish sting you, there's little barbs.
I have seen
And you rub the
scrub
tobacco
it with
on
sand.
It pulls the barbs out.
Huh.
That's so funny.
That's what
heard
I've
the
heard.
Maybe
Never heard the cigarette
Maybe
thing.
the cigarette was supposed to pull the stinger out from a bee sting,
Maybe.
but my family just crack open a cigarette and press it on there.
I 100% rubbed cigarettes on myself for jellyfish stings more than once as a child.
I've had many cigarettes rubbed on my bee stings as a child. And as you guys know, I don't know if I've ever said this on the show before. Remember I told you guys I had a wart on my hand when I was a kid? My mom taped a slice of potato to it.
It worked?
No.
I think we have talked about this because I told you I had a wart on my thumb that I took off with nail clippers.
Oh God!
But at least it took it off. You
After
didn't
many attempts, it had to come back and go away and come back and go away.
You didn't go to school with a decomposing piece of potato taped to your hand.
It's like she wanted you to get bullied.
Old potato hands. Old potato hands.
My mom is a nurse.
She could have taken you to the doctor. I had a bowl or like a wart burnt off with like frozen solution.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do
I
it.
don't know if we had insurance. I don't have any idea. But
Oh.
I got a potato
She's
taped
like,
to
why
my
go to the
hand.
doctor? I got this potato right here.
Was she a nurse then?
I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
She was in nursing school when I was like elementary school,
Okay.
first grade. I can't remember. But I remember the potato.
That's amazing.
So how did she attach it?
A Band-Aid.
So it was like a tiny piece
Little
of potato.
sliver of
Okay,
potato.
Well, that's not too bad. It wasn't-
It's not bad, but it's nothing.
well, but I was imagining like you had like a big old like chunk of potato, and the people would see it. They'd be like, "There's the potato girl."
Like ace bandage.
oh, she's an old potato woman,
Old potato woman.
or a young potato girl. Oh.
Ah, well.
Yeah. Oh, so there's lots of cool costumes. There's lots of weird animal creatures, but Balim's royal guard are wearing gimp masks. Like from American Horror Story, like
Are they?
or like it looks like one of the Doctor Who bad guys. They've got like it's like a rubber mask with like weird circular eyes.
Oh.
But
I liked was horrified by the fact that he was riding around in a little chariot that was an alive person. Like it was like a person had been spliced with a chariot.
Did I watch
and he was
this movie? I didn't know
riding
that.
around. And so it has when we see him in his little palace for the first time, the first close up is of a woman's face.
huh?
And as it sort of pans, you see that she is the chariot. Like it's
Ooh.
crazy and really disturbing.
I missed that.
How did
More
she go to the
capitalism
bathroom?
commentary.
Truly.
I tell you.
Like, is it better to have a human chariot than just to have a regular chariot?
I
don't
think
know.
it's status symbols, you know?
Yeah.
The secret ingredient is abuse.
Yeah, that's true.
Some people matter more than others, Lori.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. I'm ready for feminist favorite if y'all are.
I don't have one.
I do.
I have one.
Great.
Mine is Jupe shooting Balim in the leg. That was pretty cool. He's like, "You won't shoot me." She's like, "Watch me."
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you love
pretty
to see
cool.
it.
Yeah.
I love the maxi pad in the glove box.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
Anytime there's period anything in popular media, I'm excited about it.
I was intrigued because she puts the sticky side over the wound, which is not the absorbent
That's what
side.
but it'll absorb through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it held it on.
Yeah,
But
that's
then
true.
Kevin pointed out they get to Sean Bean's house and he takes off his vest thing and it's fully stuck to his skin, but
Yeah.
she had put it on like
The shirt.
on the shirt
That's true.
with a little hole in it. So it didn't make sense. I also really like the face. This is another thing where I think that Mila Kunis does her best with this character. When Sean Bean looks at the maxi pad and he looks at her and she's just kind of like, it's what I had.
It worked.
Her face is so funny. So yeah, I like anything period in a movie.
Call me Jupe. No one calls her Jupe. Okay.
Let's see. Next we have boob talk. There's really no boob talk in this.
Misogynist moment?
Misogynist moment. I would say the cousin stealing money for her to sell her eggs. He'll get 10, she'll get 5.
Why does he get any?
Why does she agree to that?
I know. She's like, well, I do want a $3,000 telescope. Like, no, take all the money.
Why does he get any?
And why does she have to give it to him? She could just go sign, get the check.
Check's gonna be made out to Catherine
I know.
Dunleavy.
So how's she going to cash
Yeah,
that?
they had some poor planning.
Like,
Like, they check your ID.
Yeah.
There was some indication that he helped coordinate this in some way.
Oh,
okay, so you get 5%.
He
So
made the
that's-
clinic appointment.
Right?
You get one TV, not $10,000.
It's very strange. Did he buy a $10,000 TV?
He also bought a Roomba, and who knows what.
Roomba.
And also, I guess they were buying that stuff on credit because the money wasn't in yet.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
Mine was, I just don't understand why Princess Margaret had to be naked and the little green alien, what's her name? Vanessa Kirby?
Oh,
I don't understand why she had to be in her underwear for the little green man alien moment in her bedroom.
That's interesting. It didn't bother me at all.
It did bother me until a friend pointed it out.
yeah. I'm neutral.
Then I
towards
got
it.
bothered.
Because people do like, what do I wear? And
Yeah, but why couldn't she be wearing a bathrobe?
well, because she was trying dresses on and taking them off and on.
Ugh.
I guess I just didn't find anything about that titillating, but I guess I wouldn't.
It's one of those moments where it's like, should we never show women in any sort of
Yeah.
undress, or like, is it always?
Well, I didn't say bad.
Oh, I know, but like, I mean, that's the natural conclusion of like, is any time a woman in undress, is it bad?
I guess the only thing I can say for that scene is that it was a little bit Cinderella-y in the sense that she was like, around all this finery and helping someone get ready for a ball or something that she wouldn't be able to attend.
Yeah.
You know, it had an element of that to it. So the scene itself didn't bother me. I just wasn't quite sure why she'd have been on her
Yeah.
the whole
I mean,
time.
I don't
She
know.
got a great bod.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the answer, but like, I mean, I see your point, but like at the same time, it's like, I mean, I guess we could all wear clothes all the time.
Well, like there was so little nudity in this movie that
Yeah.
it seemed like the 2 times we had nudity, like 3, I guess. There was that. There was when Khalik gets out of the gene pool.
Eddie Redmayne too.
We get some butt.
Yeah.
And then it was the other dude who was in his orgy.
Oh, and Eddie Redmayne when he gets in his pool too. You can see like his back and like part of his butt.
Oh.
There's actually a lot of nudity in this
That was a
movie.
forgettable butt.
I just didn't mind that at all because it felt realistic to me.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like she like bent over, you know?
The other one's better anyway. The other misogynist movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Golly. Why does Vladdy get 1 red cent? I want to know.
2/3 of that money going to him.
And it makes Jupiter seem like a real
Well,
dodo.
that's how she is, man. She's like, yeah, I'll just do whatever you want for all the time.
Poor thing.
Ugh. That should really be my misogynist moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Why does she just agree to everything all the time?
well, true. Like, and you know, like they said, they wanted to have an innocent, empathetic creature, but I don't think that has to mean that she's like completely a pushover either.
Right.
So
I think that's and she does by the end, by the time she's trying to sign this abdication for Eddie
her
Redmayne,
third document of the
her third legal document of the movie, she does finally go, no, I'm not going to do this.
yeah.
And it's funny how she's like, you would be in violation of section 276B, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, where did that come from?
Well, and that's the first indication. No offense, Jupiter, that she's smart. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
she seems very neutral. And like, there's like not dumb or smart until the end.
her
so.
cousin Leslie Higgins from Ted Lasso does tell her she's smart that one time. When she's like, I want some money. And he's like, for what? And she doesn't want to tell him. And he's like, you're smart. That's why you don't have a husband.
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's the only indication until she does that she's smart.
yeah.
Poor thing.
I don't think there's any foods in this. Maybe the honey.
No one eats anything in this movie.
not one thing.
And we do have some boobs. I mean, I guess Vanessa Kirby's boobs are there in her underwear. But
Just being there.
Yeah, right, fine.
Is that the actress's name?
Yeah.
I don't know who.
Vanessa Kirby is the actress's name. She played Princess Margaret in The Crown, which is what I know her from.
Oh, I've never seen that.
She's also in a gay movie called The World to Come that is so bleak but so good. So that's what I know her from.
Yeah, there's no food. Khalik eats one glowing ball. There's a glowing ball she eats.
Oh.
And I assumed it was a gene ball.
Yeah, it's like a little
But,
like a buzz ball.
I wasn't positive about that.
Like a gene keto bomb.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, is there any soap stuff in this movie?
No, it's very straightforward. The entire movie is
The
just
whole
some stuff.
movie is a soap opera.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Star Wars, Lord of the Rings.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
But also like kind of Game of Thronesy.
It does have Sean Bean.
Yeah, it does have Sean Bean. Oh yeah, it's got Sean Bean. There are dragons in leather jackets. There is bald men that are full of political intrigue. There's lots-
Jupiter is kind of like Jupiter the planet is kind of like Mordor. It's all flaming and
That's true.
Yeah.
It's really Wizard of Oz, but that's fine. There's no place like home, kids.
It's a fun movie though.
it is fun.
It's worth
fun and
watching.
silly. Amy, I have on here that I would like to know how your mom knows of Channing Tatum. And please, I hope the answer is that she's a big fan of Magic Mike.
It is Magic Mike. But she knew about him. She knew about him before. So for my mother's 70th birthday, I rented a beach house down near where she lives. This was 7 years ago. And some of my friends came down. One of her friends came over. We all hung out at this beach house for a couple days. And one night we drank tequila and played Cards Against Humanity. And at the end of this, my mother had had a little bit of tequila and she said, I want to watch Magic Mike.
Oh,
So we put on Magic Mike. It was a good time.
I love it.
We all fell asleep.
And she calls him Chan.
She calls him Chan.
Aw.
She loves Chan. But I'm telling you, she hasn't mentioned Chan in a long time because Henry Cavill is her new thing.
Henry is like a matinee idol though. I love that man. Oof.
He's delightful.
Yeah.
He's like a good person. She loves that he has a nice family.
He seems a little smarter than Channing Tatum too. I don't know.
I mean, he builds his own computers.
Yeah.
Did Channing ever do that?
He's
No.
British, right? Too. So that's
He is
part
British.
Of it, yeah.
Whew. Hello.
Oh, I just remembered he plays The Witcher.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah,
does.
yeah.
That's what I know him
She
from.
knows him from Superman.
That mustache in the Mission Impossible movie. Oof.
Come on. He's a gorgeous man.
I agree.
And he's a nerd. Well, what do you want?
Yep.
What are we doing next time?
We're going to Worldcon.
Oh yeah.
This will come out right after we get back from Worldcon.
Oh, that makes me so nervous.
Yeah, I know. Because this will come out the first Wednesday in September. So we will be either Hugo winners or losers by the time this airs.
We'll be Hugo winners or Hugo finalists, which is still great.
Right now, we are Schrodinger's Hugo candidates. Because the votes are in, but no one knows.
No one knows, yeah.
But for October, we're doing Stars in My Pocket Like Grains of Sand.
Yes, ma'am.
Woohoo.
And possibly some sort of horror extra, maybe Event Horizon or Mothman Prophecies.
Yeah, either one.
And Stars in My Pocket Like Grains of Sand by Samuel R. Delaney was the selection of
Stephen R.
our friend Stephen R., who won the abortion clinic fundraiser raffle.
We finally picked. He spent a long time picking the perfect book. I'm very excited.
He loves this book.
Listen, if you ever see him out there, he agonized over this for a long time. I think he's chosen well.
Mhm.
I think we're going to have a good time. Thank you, Stephen.
I'm excited.
Everybody be nice to Stephen.
Not Misty, but I'm still looking forward to it. I have been wanting to read some Delaney.
I don't think I ever have.
And I haven't. And do you know what I found? I Googled the book. It seems very complex. And one of the first things I found was a very long review by our friend Jo Walton.
Oh, interesting.
Joe.
She was just gushing about it. She loves it. Obviously she loves Delaney. We could tell that from from among others. But yeah, she wrote a lengthy, interesting review
cool.
on Tor.com in
I bet
2014, I think.
I bet that's in her, I'll look in her Hugo's book and see if she has anything else to say about it in there.
We're doing November.
Yep.
Okay. Good job, everybody. Jupiter Ascending. Put it in your eye holes as soon as you can. I, for one, recommend it.
It's fun.
It is very fun.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, y'all.